Hello and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred today and years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. I am, of course, your host, Xander. I am once again joined by the lovely,
Who is Alice?
and as you can see here, he is muted, but I will introduce him for you, Fire Marshal or Fire Muffin Bill.
Fire Muffin Bill.
Fire Muffin Bill. The source of the information comes from the smart device application Today in History on This Day and the website onthisday.com. Although tomorrow I'm going to have a new source from myself because my source is unfortunately very politically motivated to a certain side that I don't agree with. But anyway, for links to the sources, music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the box below. Let's get on with the show, shall we?
Yes, and today is Friar's Day, also known as Friday, January 7th, 2022. And today, on this day in history, we're starting with 49 BC. The Senate of Rome stated that Caesar would be declared a public enemy unless he disbanded his army. This prompted the tribunes who supported him to flee to Ravenna, where Caesar was waiting.
I'll get this next one. Let's just ping pong. Let's just do that.
Let's just ping pong.
In 1558, French troops led by Francis, Duke of Guise, took Calais, the last continental possession of England. So when you look at
that said possum.
I'm sorry?
When you said possession, when I first read it on the thing, I thought it said possum.
The first continental possum of England, yes.
Yes, yeah.
England and their continental possums. No, if you ever look at the channel between France and the United Kingdom, that area that's the
English Channel.
The English Channel, but the area that's like the narrowest, I think it's 26 miles, that connects, that's where they have the Channel Tunnel, or the Channel. That's the Pas de Calais. That's where the Germans thought we were going to invade during World War II. There's a whole thing behind that, but that's when France took control of that area.
Well, yeah, speaking of that whole thing, because you had the White Cliffs of Dover down there, and that was also a sign that British fighter pilots knew they were safe when they were coming back from flying over that channel during World War II. And possibly World War I. I'm not sure about World War I, but definitely World War II.
I don't think they had the aircraft to go over the channel at that time. But anyway, let's move on.
We're going to go to 1584 here. It was the last day of the Julian calendar in Bohemia and the Holy Roman Empire. So another person ended their type of calendar to the calendar we see nowadays.
Yeah.
So
throughout antiquity, there's been thousands and thousands and thousands of calendars. The fact that on top of so many other things, we have a more or less global unified calendar is really something. Now all we need to do is convince the United States to use the metric system, because we're the only country other than North Korea that uses imperial. So.
Actually, here's the funny thing: is that they did try to incorporate the metric system back in, I think, the late '80s, early '90s.
Yeah.
But people wouldn't take it. They're like, no.
Yeah, no, we want our freedom units per hamburger football field. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry. I'm more for my pounds and my inches and centimeters. Okay, thank you very much. Because I'm so stupid.
Anyway, moving on up to 1598, Boris Godunov seized Russian throne on the death of Fyodor the First.
Fedor. Yeah. 1601, Robert, Earl of Essex, leads a revolt in London against Queen Elizabeth.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, which Elizabeth is that?
One of the many.
Is it the one we still have today? 400 years ago? She's still going?
Yep, she's still going.
God, that I'm still in awe that Betty White is gone. So.
Dude, and and somehow Queen Elizabeth is still alive, but Betty White dies. This is blasphemy.
Well, who do you like? I have a feeling that they really did battle Highlander style, because Elizabeth wasn't doing that well, so she probably realized she didn't have that much time. So she and Betty had a secret duel to the death, and unfortunately, Miss White did not succeed.
Because Betty White doesn't eat babies.
Yeah, that's probably the reason as well.
But
anyway. Moving on up to 1608, a fire destroyed Jamestown, Virginia.
Yeah, that one I thought was very interesting that I posted. I was like, oh man, that was like it destroyed most of the whole town.
And
like
the
I
town
don't know
wasn't that
exactly
big
the
to begin
percentage.
with.
Dude, it's not
1600s,
that
we're
big.
talking like
Yeah, well,
small,
no.
less than a
But
dozen
like,
structures, you know?
is there a percentage that you can look up, like, of how much the town was actually destroyed by the fire? Because, like, you can look at the London fire or like the Chicago fire and stuff like that. Those were massive. But
It says here, it destroyed many of the buildings within the fort, among them the colony's first church. Most of the colony's provisions were destroyed, including those recently brought in by John and Francis. The other supply ship, Phoenix, was lost.
oh wow.
And Powhatan provided food for the colony, which I believe that's a Native American tribe. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's basically like a huge chunk of it and stuff. So that's actually quite interesting. I'm glad
dude,
that you
how
thought
many
that
times did the natives come and bail our ass out, only for us to turn around and like do what we did? Horrible.
Well, how many times have the Native Americans done it to each other?
Yeah, that too. Well, let's move on.
Well, we're going to move up to 1610. Galileo Galilei made his first observation of the 4 Galilean moons: Ganymede, Callisto, Io, and Europa. Although he was not able to distinguish the last 2 until the following day. So tomorrow we'll get to bring that up again.
Yeah. It's Io, not Lo.
Oh, Io. I thought so. Oh, that's right. It's Io.
Yeah.
I hate how capital I's don't have the dashes on the top and bottom on the computer. Like how I write my I's. It's like dude.
Okay. Mine does over here.
Mine doesn't. Because I guess my phone's gayer than gay porn. Nothing against gays. Just a saying I like to say. But anyways, it's your turn.
Anyway, in 1611, the trial of a Hungarian aristocrat, Elizabeth Bathory, the most prolific female serial killer in history, for murdering and torturing hundreds of young women, later sentenced to house arrest for the rest of her life. She got off so easy. So easy.
So she got DoorDash for the rest of her life.
Yeah. Well, whatever the DoorDash equivalent was for the 1600s, but murdering hundreds of people and then you just get house arrest? Like, man, I thought we were easy on women today. Jeez.
Dude, you know what? We're easy on. Did you hear about New York City decriminalizing armed robbery?
Oh, Christ.
Yeah. So, yeah, but, it's basically going back to that, because we didn't learn apparently.
Are you kidding me?
No, I just saw this today or yesterday.
Oh my God. I'm going to have to look into this. But let's move on up to 1714.
Yeah, 1714, the typewriter patented by Englishman Henry Mill was patented, but he didn't build it till a few years later. So, the typewriter was patented.
Now, for all of you who probably doesn't know this, if you look at your keyboard, your standard key, W-E-R-T-Y keyboard,
it came from the typewriter.
It's based off the typewriter, and why are the keys in those positions?
I can't remember.
It's all because of the mechanics, the analog of all the levers and pulleys and everything. Each key had to attach to their own thing. If you ever look at a keyboard's internals and all those things, that's the optimum position of the keys, and it just went over into the keyboard in the modern day.
It's easy to type. Like I remember learning how to type as a kid. Like it's like the same thing that they told you in playing piano. You look at the screen or your sheet music, and you're not supposed to look down at your fingers. Man, you know what I want to do? I wanted to learn how stenographers type, but they do shorthand, and I can't do shorthand.
I remember learning typing in school. One of the games we had was Mario Teaches Typing, and you played like Mario games with typing and everything. And then
I didn't have that.
It was hilarious. Like that, my generation, like we've gone through so many things, that so many problems are solved with a smartphone. They're like, oh, you got to learn typing. It's an integral skill, and now you just talk to your phone. Integral skill, my butt. Oh, you got to learn math. You got to learn how to do the problems. You're not going to carry around a calculator with the smartphones. Hello.
But it's not a scientific calculator though.
Well, it can be. You can just download an app. You'll be fine.
Yeah, of course. You just got to download an app.
But moving up to 1782, the first U.S. commercial bank, the Bank of North America, opened in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Pennsylvania at it again.
Yeah, those silly.
Yeah, actually, a couple years later, the second one opened up, but I just on the same day too. But I just was like, well, I already got one in here, so I don't need to put the second one up.
Should have put up another one,
I shoulda, woulda, coulda. At least I mentioned it. Hey,
Yeah,
how about that?
that's true.
It was the second bank of that
Second
style
bank.
that was opened in Philadelphia. So you're not missing much there.
Yep.
In 1785, the Frenchman Blanchard, sorry, not Jacquot. Yeah, the Frenchman Jean-Pierre Blanchard and U.S. citizen John Jeffries traveled from Dover, England to Calais, France, in a gas balloon.
Calais.
Calais, whatever, Calais. We should put an S at the end
Well,
then.
we
How about
just
that?
talked. We just talked about Calais.
I know we did. I couldn't help it. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm a girl. I got a short memory span. I'm just kidding. I'm not making fun of women, just myself.
Anyway, in 1719, during the French Revolution, a major riot broke out in Versailles as people demanded lower bread prices. Versailles?
Yeah.
Maybe I should start speaking in my southern accent. A major riot broke out in Versailles.
Versailles.
They're in French.
Sounds like an off-brand of Mercedes cars.
Versailles. It's like if Vaseline and a car had a child. Versailles.
Oh my god, dude. What if you had Vaseline-powered cars? The world would be, like... Do you know how many people would take advantage of that in a really sick, perverted way?
Well, one would say that'd be a smooth ride.
Oh, français. Oh, yeah, but we're going to move from 1790. We're going up a few decades here to 1830. The first U.S. railroad. Huh?
40 years.
Is that only 40? Jesus.
40.
Yeah, you're right. It's only 40. Yeah, but I said a few decades, so
yeah, that's
I was
true.
right. My saying. So, in 1830, though, the first U.S. railroad station opened up in Baltimore, Maryland.
Maryland. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, who cares about Maryland, though?
Well, I do. Somebody does.
Dude, I know, probably the people of Baltimore are just like gonna be like, I'm gonna find her, and then they're gonna swat her.
I'm gonna find her. 5 years later, in 1835, HMS Beagle, with Charles Darwin on board, dropped anchor off the Chono Archipelago. And I believe this is when he was studying the turtles and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the Galapagos Islands and stuff. Is this outside of that?
Chono Archipelago. Let me look this up here.
Yeah, probably not. I'm just wrong because everyone's like, "Oh, he discovered the Galapagos Islands," which, like, I wonder what's been going on there. Just because that's actually like an oddity. It's like evolution was like left behind out there.
The Chono Archipelago is a series of low, mountainous, elongated islands with deep bays, traces of a submerged Chilean coast range. Most of the islands are forested with little or no human settlement, and the picture I'm getting is just blue. It's just the ocean.
Yep, they don't even. It's like, we're not even gonna map this.
It's just, here you go, ocean. How is this helpful?
Yeah, you know what? That is
but it's off of Chile, so that is not the Galapagos. But he's.
The Galapagos isn't like that somewhere into the Pacific though. Like not like. So he probably set sail from somewhere out there and then found. Did he find the Galapagos first and then this?
I'm not sure. But the Galapagos, it's off of Ecuador. So it's more of a long. Yeah.
It's just a little further up from Chile.
Several thousand miles further up, but still, yeah.
Nobody has to know.
Well, they do now.
Oh wait, they do now. Okay, well, we're moving up right here. So yeah, we're going from from
1861.
1861. Florida troops take over Fort Marion and St. Augustine in the U.S. Civil War.
And then moving on up to 1862, during the Romney campaign, Stonewall Jackson marched toward Romney, West Virginia.
Oh, good old googly eyes. Good old googly eyes.
Stonewall Jackson.
Yeah, when I saw that, like, it showed his picture again. It was the same exact picture. I'm like, oh, it's good old googly eyes.
You know what? Let me see if I can find
googly
eyes. Oh, here it is.
He kind of reminds me of, like, my ex-boyfriend ever sees this. He's gonna be like, what are you trying to say? I was like, well, you have a lazy eye. But like he has like my ex-boyfriend had like almost that same type of eye set as he does.
Well, maybe if his eyes stop smoking weed.
Dude, no, only his mouth does now.
So he has a lazy mouth? It's just like,
It's like the red eye from like Cowboy Bebop, but
oh man, didn't that stuff make you like aggressive?
and super strong too. Because
Ah,
remember, Spike had to got the snot beat out of him for a second, but he has like a fast healing rate. So
yeah, that's
I
right.
think that snot beat out of him. I can't remember how that.
But what happened in 1868?
Well, in 1868, Arkansas, well, actually, both years, the same year, two of them actually. So we have both Alabama, or I mean, sorry, Arkansas and Mississippi have a constitutional convention. In Arkansas, it meets in Little Rock. In Mississippi, it meets in Jackson.
Hmm.
I'm going to Jackson. Go comb my hair. Sorry.
In 1892, a mine explosion caused the deaths of 100 in Krebs, Oklahoma. Blacks trying to help rescue white survivors driven away with guns. Wow.
That is
Wow.
just that
Wow.
is the
They're
I
trying
saw
to
that.
save people. Like, are
Yeah,
you
they're trying
kidding
to help.
me?
Yeah, they were trying to help, and they were like, "Mm-mm, you can't help whites," because they were super racist back then.
Well,
I guess.
remember the article from yesterday, or was it the day before, where that guy in South Africa fired 20,000 like black miners or
Yeah,
something?
that was yesterday. That was
Yeah,
yesterday's show. 25,000 or 20,000 black miners.
yeah. And by miners,
South
we
Africa.
mean like digging in the ground miners, not children miners. They didn't fire 20,000 children blacks. No, no. So
No. Yeah, right.
because
Yeah, none of those Minecrafters.
that's just as bad as, if not worse, just hiring children to do jobs. That's not right. Kids should be out
Yeah,
playing and
yeah,
setting
kids should
things
be
on
out
fire,
playing and
not
learning and
working.
stuff, not wearing masks.
Yeah. Well, what happened
Yeah.
in 1894?
Well, in 1894, we have William Kennedy Dixon. He received a patent for the motion picture film.
Ooh, motion
That was a
pictures.
good find. I was like, I saw it on there, but I was like, eh. But like that back then, that's actually cool
Yeah.
because we'll go into it later when we get into the 2000s. Why I like just totally was like, yeah,
Yeah.
puts it in history.
10
But
years later, in 1904, Marconi Company established CQD as the first international radio distress signal, later to be replaced by SOS 2 years later.
yep, so yeah, he did the first distress signal, I guess,
So,
international radio.
international
Yeah,
radio distress signal.
yeah. We're gonna move up from 1904. 6 years later, in 1910, we have Stanley Cup. Days Arena in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. The Ottawa Senators beat Galt, another team, 3-1 for a 2-0 sweep of Challenge Series.
The Stanley Cup was next door at one point, where I live. The
Yep.
general manager of the Mighty Ducks many years ago actually lived next door to me, and one of the years that they won, he actually had the Stanley Cup in that house. I have a picture of my dad and the GM standing next to it, and the transport vehicle was parked in our driveway, and that's how we figured all this stuff out, because we're just like, who the hell's parking in our driveway? you know?
Yeah, Stanley Cup is one thing. Like, I wish I could, like, I've never actually seen it because, unfortunately, as far as I remember, Minnesota has never won a Stanley Cup. Hey, would you just look up real quickly if the Minnesota North Stars ever won a Stanley Cup? I don't think they did. But I could be wrong. Just to humor me since we're on the topic of it. Yeah, we've never had the Stanley Cup in Minnesota. As far
Minnesota,
as I know.
they do not have any Stanley Cups.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was a bridesmaid, never bride. We also have no Super Bowls.
oh man.
We went there 3 or 4 times, and last time we went was 1972 for the Vikings. And
Well, I
still
guess
not
that says that.
the
Well,
Minnesota, except however, we have the Twins. They have won. They had like the 1989 and 1991 World Series. We
yeah.
won, and also like the WNBA. They've won like 4 like championships.
Man, you guys are
So
doing worse than the WNBA.
hey,
That's hard.
no, whatever. WNBA, like it's the Lynx, like the Minnesota Lynx. They've won their form of their cup for the championship. So
Uh,
they've won it like 4 times. I think they won it like 2-3 years in a row.
hmm.
So
Anyway, in
yeah,
1915, during World War I, Germany's Kaiser Wilhelm approved strategic bombing of Britain, but forbid bombing of London, fearing his relatives in the royal family might be killed. Wow. See, what have I been saying every now and then? Like, all of Europe's aristocracy,
they're all related.
aristocracy, I can't pronounce the word. Aristocratic people, like all those
Yeah.
people, they're all related. They're all related. What?
Like even some of our presidents here that we've had in the past are related to royal. royalty out there. So, I mean, it's just kind of like this big conglomerate where, no everyday Joe could actually really win something like an election, in my opinion, like for presidency. Except for maybe, well, Donald Trump is like loosely related to somebody.
Yeah, well, we'll figure all that out later, because 1 year after that, in 1916, in response to pressure from President Woodrow Wilson, Germany notified the U.S. State Department that it will abide by strict international rules of maritime warfare, which, they didn't, because they did all their submarine shenanigans, and yeah.
Well, yeah, like with the Lusitania and stuff like that.
Well, that was after. The Lusitania was in 1914, I believe.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But what happened in 1920?
The Anglo-Irish Treaty is ratified by Dáil Éireann by a 64 to 57 vote.
Well, that happened in 1922, but in 1920, the New York State Assembly allegedly refused to seat 5 duly elected Socialist Assemblymen.
You can't ask me what happened in 1922 and 1920.
Well,
that's your. That's okay. We hopscotched.
Well, it's recorded, so we'll see. We'll see who didn't listen or hear right. But
yeah, we'll see. But yeah, we'll see later. I could have sworn maybe I wasn't listening and I heard 22.
Or maybe I had a tongue fumble. Who knows?
Here we go. Here, 1923, the Baltimore Sun, a newspaper, it warns of the Ku Klux Klan.
Ooh. Here we go. But moving on up to 1927, commercial transatlantic telephone service inaugurated between New York City and London. So the first, cable.
Yep. We were talking, I think, about this yesterday, how, like, that submarine made that phone call.
Yeah.
And this is actually something that comes out years later. But here, you might as well take the other 1927.
Also in 1927, the Harlem Globetrotters... Let's restart.
Globetrotters.
The Harlem Globetrotters played their first game in Hinckley, Illinois.
Hinckley. We have a Hinckley in Minnesota. It's where we have like one of our casinos. But that's neither here nor there. In 1928, a disastrous flood of the River Thames killed 14 people and caused extensive damage to much of Riverside of London.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's always,
put that in your pipe and smoke it.
It's always nice to live. Yeah, it's always nice to live on the water, but sometimes the water wants to come and live with you. So,
dude, well, I shit you not, man. I've always lived near a river.
Ooh.
No matter throughout my entire life, basically, except for like when I was a kid, we were like 5 miles from the river, maybe. But like ever since then, I've lived less than like 2 miles from a river. Like mostly I've lived like less than a half a mile from the river, but right now I live like 1.5 miles from a river.
I live like 1 mile from a river, if you can call it that. There's water in it, but there's not much of it being California. So
the name of this river out here is retarded, like the way they pronounce it, but like it's like I call it the Schuylkill, but I also call it the Skullfuck River. So
Well, anyway, in 1929, French inventor Robert Bureau launched the first radio sonde, which is a battery-powered telemetry instrument carried into the atmosphere to measure various parameters and transmit them by radio to a ground receiver.
Well, for those who don't understand that, why don't you like kind of give layman's terms of what that all means? Because I kind of like I know part of it, but I'm like, who?
It's a weather balloon.
Oh, a weather balloon? Yeah. Well,
yeah, it's a small instrument package that is suspended below a balloon filled with either hydrogen or helium. So, the first weather balloon, 1929. Interesting.
Well, there you go. 1931, we have Guy Menzies. Flies the first solo non-stop trans-Tasman flight, basically from Australia to New Zealand, in 11 hours and 45 minutes, only to crash land on New Zealand's west coast.
I mean, he made it.
He made it. It doesn't say whether he lived or died by that, but he might, like, I should have seen if, like, he was in my death list, so he died with it. But I would imagine they would have said that he died, too, on that thing.
Well, he died on November 4th, 1940 in Italy, so,
okay, so
that was 9 years later.
So he survived? Okay, so he survived.
But moving on up to 1934, Flash Gordon, a comic strip by Alex Raymond, debuted.
Flash! Savior
of
of
the
the
universe.
Dude, you totally need to add in some Queen. No, wait, there'd probably be copyrights to
Yeah,
that.
they'll probably come after me with the
Come
hammer
at
of
me, bro.
Thor.
In 1935, the Jacquois, aka the French, Foreign Minister Pierre Laval and Benito Mussolini signed the Franco-Italian Agreement.
Ooh. So, 4 years before the start of World War II, France and
Yeah.
Italy were kind of in talks, but that didn't work out too well.
No, it didn't.
But speaking of World War II stuff, in 1940, during the Winter War, specifically the Battle of Rat Road, the Finnish 9th Division was finally defeated the numerical superior Soviet forces on the Rate Suo-Musamali Road.
Actually, I heard that they were also severely outnumbered. I think I read that up, but I think, or no, it might be something else where they were severely outnumbered.
Well,
but
that's why I
still.
said numerically superior Soviet forces.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they were severely outnumbered, but they somehow were able to hold it. Maybe because of strategic.
Well,
placement.
because they more or less they also had like that sniper who confirmed killed 1,000 people or something crazy, like the White Death they called him.
That man is either going to a special level of heaven or a special level of hell. Who knows? But anyways, a year later, in 1941, Chinese Kuomintang forces, under the orders from Chiang Kai-shek, opened fire on the surrounded communist New Fourth Army of Malin and Anhui province, killing or capturing 7,000 troops. They don't tell you which one.
Yeah.
So they killed them all or they captured them. And they, the Chinese, they're not going to tell us if they did. They'll be like, oh, we captured them. But something tells me they did a little both.
Well, this was before the CCP, really. The CCP started they started back in like the 1910s, 1920s.
First, but they weren't really. That was the Mao, right?
Mao Zedong, with his Cultural Revolution. That's a lot of things people don't really understand. Like the turmoil going on in Asia was just as bad, if not worse, than what was going on in Europe. Like Japan was invading everybody. China was having a civil war. Everything was going to shit, And then. Japan, Germany, and Italy decided to just like pour gasoline on a methane fire, in Scotland. But anyway, speaking of World War II, in 1942, the Siege of Bataan started.
Yeah. How long did that siege last?
Siege of Bataan.
Bataan.
It lasted until April 9th of 1942. So January, February, March, April. So about 4 months. Just a few days shy of 4 months. So that's a pretty decent siege.
That's a hefty siege. I mean, we're going to move up from 42 to 44 here, but that is a hefty siege indeed.
Well, that was ours. We were sieging Bataan.
Yes, I know. I think they talk about that in Band of Brothers, that HBO miniseries.
Probably more like Pacific.
Oh wait, no, that was Bataan. Yeah, you're right. That's not. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, that would have been what's that other one that they did? Not Band of Brothers. The Pacific. Yeah, that was. I think they talked about in that.
Yeah, well, that was about the Pacific Theater. So.
Oh, okay.
Good show, by the way. Watch them both.
They are both very good shows. Like I'm actually, that was back when HBO did decent crap. So, anyways, we're gonna move up 2 years here to 1944, where the U.S. Air Force announces production of the first U.S. jet fighter, the Bell P-59. So so
look at this pretty bird.
U.S. jet fighter.
Look at this pretty bird. Look at that guy.
Oh, she's a pretty girl. Oh,
are planes considered girls? I know ships are, but are planes?
I would consider him a she. The only thing I'm gonna consider a he is my Luger. I'm just kidding. I don't own a Luger.
Oh my god! Look at that! Somebody put a cardboard propeller on one of them.
Oh my god! Is that? That might be
that's cool. It's both jet and prop driven. Look at that.
Yeah.
It has a redundancy program system.
Yeah, do you see in that one picture just to the left of it? It has one with the prop on the front, next to the.
That's not the same vehicle.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
You can see. No, look. There's a jet, and then there's no jet.
Oh yeah, she was that was probably like the sleekest looking thing at the time when planes were coming out. Like
The
that,
future,
they did
man.
more.
The space age,
Oh
man. Could you
man.
imagine like growing up in the 50s and 60s with all this space age stuff coming out? How exciting it would have been.
Oh yeah, dude. Like remember all like the really shitty B movies they made of like space, like Mystery Science Theater 3000 like covered that like during like from 89 to 99. Like it's my favorite show to watch. Like I go to sleep to it every night. I love
Anyway,
watching it.
moving up to
I,
1945, the last surface engagement between Allies and Japanese at the Pacific Campaign of World War II occurred. Huh.
oh,
So that was like the
damn.
last ground trip. I believe everything else
Yeah,
was
the last round,
all
like,
airborne and ship combat.
yeah, like although most of like the Pacific War really dealt with like on the water anyway for the most part, except for like Iwo Jima, which everybody
Well,
knows.
well, there was
And
Iwo Jima, Okinawa. There was a bunch of other islands.
Okinawa.
They did a bunch of island hopping. Actually, they spent like
Well, yeah,
years.
we did a lot of aircraft
Yeah.
fighting out in the Pacific, like more so than we did in Europe.
Well, yeah, there was a lot bigger of an area to fight in. Like
Oh my
Europe is
God.
mostly ground. The Pacific is mostly water. So
Oh yeah.
what happened
So
in
yeah,
1946?
what happened in 1946? Cambodia becomes autonomous state inside the French Union.
Ooh. So
Yeah,
they were still
the
under the
clause.
rule, but they were allowed to
The clause.
self-rule a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, the two clause. I tell you,
Those
those checks and
chakwas.
balances. The banky.
Donkey!
No, the banky. Remember how
Oh,
they're
the
bunk? No,
Bonquet.
it's like
Bonquois.
bunkway. Yeah, bunqua.
Bonquois.
Like I just want to say, you mean baguette?
Back 2 years later, in 1948, Thomas Mantell, a pilot for the Kentucky Air National Guard, crashed while pursuing a supposed UFO.
I thought you would like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, but yeah, that was like what the what did they call them back then? What was
Flying
the term?
saucers.
No, the flying. No. There was it was a really very like feng shui name too that they used to call them like Fugazi. What the fuck did they call them? In the air, it has like two Z's in it, but like it was a term that they called the like unidentified flying objects back then. Um,
Uh, oh my god. 187 synonyms and antonyms of alien.
no,
Don't think
of
I'm
this
gonna find
UFO.
it.
It's like a Fugazi or something like that.
I just searched UFO name with two Z's.
Oh yeah.
But
There's a,
anyway, let's move on.
I'll find it later.
Yeah, what happened in 1950?
1950. Oh shit! Here we go.
Oh no.
In 1950, mental health wing of Mercy Hospital burns down, and it kills 41 people in Davenport, Iowa.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's a definite shit snack there.
Yeah, man.
And, oh, if you
Mental
don't mind
health.
me taking 1955
Go
here,
ahead.
because this is sports on here.
Go ahead.
A 20-year-old future world heavyweight boxing champion Floyd Patterson scores a fifth-round TKO of Willie Troy in a non-title super middleweight bout at New York's Madison Square Garden.
Hmm.
And for those who don't know what a TKO is like a
Technical knockout.
technical knockout. Yeah, technical knockout. Like he didn't just go straight up, I believe. Yeah. Ooh, this one I have to take too.
Okay.
Oh, no, you're showing the flying V. Never mind. Oh yes, that is one. 1958. Gibson issued the first U.S. patent for the flying V guitar. This was a very popular guitar that Dimebag Darrell played, if memory serves me correctly.
Flying V guitar, Dimebag.
Oh no, he did the Dean. I'm sorry, he did the Dean V guitar.
Ah.
And then he had that. And then he had the one that kind of has like the little star that goes up too. So like
Oh, so
adds
he has like a K guitar.
yeah, he has like almost K, but yeah, he did a similar one. But yeah, that was Dimebag's thing. But I've also seen him just do the V.
Ah.
But yeah, but Gibson did issue the first U.S. patent for the Flying V.
Hmm.
And Gibson's a good guitar company. My dad owns a couple Gibsons. So
1 year later, in 1959, the United States recognized Fidel Castro's Cuban government.
didn't we stop recognizing him too eventually, or is that?
Well, we did, and then we started again in like 2014 or something. Dude,
Yeah, we
politics,
just-
man. Politics is nothing more than the behavior or actions of a fickle female. It's just like, I'm not going to talk to you anymore.
What?
Like,
what are you saying about women? I'm just kidding. I don't care. I'm just against
Exhibit A! Exhibit A!
Shut your fucking mouth. Just kidding. I still love you. Hey, did you hear in 1962 there was an assassination attempt in Indonesia of the President Sukarno?
And it failed.
It totally failed.
Totally failed.
I don't even I don't even know what they tried to do. I didn't look it up.
They tried to kill him. That's what they tried to do.
Well, no shit. First, I was asking, how did they try?
Okay, well, you know what? Let me look it up. We have the technology.
We have the technology for now.
The technology.
Until they take the interwebs away from us.
Oh, it was a CIA attempt.
What?
What the hell? We tried to kill somebody in Indonesia. Well, there you go. The U.S. government constantly trying to screw around with the rest of the world. We really got to keep to ourselves, honestly. You know?
Right? We go to America first, man. And then help people secondly, you know?
Well,
help the people that are here with what they're dealing with.
Yeah.
Then help. But, like, I also still believe in less government, but, like, and more down to, like, a state level kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. But anyway, 3 years later in 1965, France announced it will convert $150 million of its currency to gold.
I bet you they keep it at Fort Knox.
Well, that makes you wonder, like, are they practicing transmutation or something? Those silly Chicquois? You know, like the law of equivalent exchange. Are they converting the paper into gold? Is that equivalent exchange? Like how do you magic?
Well, they used to just give out gold shillings and stuff like that, didn't they? Like England. Oh, here, have a shilling.
Have a shilling. But also in 1965. Also in 1965, a set of twin brothers were held in custody in London after being charged with abduction and murder.
You know, I couldn't find who these set of twin brothers were, like their names. I did try to look that one up, but I was having internet problems again this morning. The Cray twins? Were they boxers?
Yeah, the boxers.
Oh my god. Oh god.
Well,
motherfuckers.
They lived in their name. They were Cray Cray.
They were Cray Cray indeed.
Cray Cray.
1966, we have Gene Kaczynski beats Lou Thesz in St. Louis to become the NWA wrestling champion. Boop, for all those wrestling people out there.
What's NWA? National Women's Association?
No. I think it's the NWA wrestling. Just look up NWA wrestling conference.
Well, Google brought up a different NWA.
Oh yeah. Oh, I bet they did. Let me guess. Is Ice Cube involved?
Yes. Yes, he was.
Okay, NWA's World Heavyweight Championship. Okay, and that was
National Wrestling Alliance. That's what it stands for.
Okay, yeah. What region were they out of? Does it say?
No, it just says it's a sports league championship.
Oh shoot! This might be the former WWE to WWF. This might be.
It might be the predecessor.
Does it say? Does it have any McMahon in there for the fucking owner?
I don't know. The current champion is Trevor Murdoch.
Okay, so NWA is still going up.
Okay.
Well, that's cool.
Oh yeah, August 29th, 2021. So yeah, it's its own thing.
Yeah, it is its own thing. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
All right.
But I wasn't sure. But I was like, yeah, just curiosity killed the cat.
In 1968, Surveyor 7, the last spacecraft in the Surveyor series, lifted off.
Yeah, well, isn't it also? No, we had what was it? Surveyor 7 did something a couple years later. We talked about yesterday. So this is the actual liftoff of it.
It was sent to explore the surface of the moon, and in total transmitted 21,091 pictures back to Earth.
Yeah, didn't do a soft landing too on it? Was that a different one that did a soft landing?
I think it was a different one. There's a lot of space things actually. The market's getting kind of saturated.
Dude, how do you lift off and not run into one of these things when you get into space?
I don't know. Have you seen the space debris map?
Oh my god, there's still an astronaut's glove that's circulating or orbiting around the Earth, like a glove from the astronaut. Like
That's kind of hilarious. Wait, why is there a glove?
I
Like
don't I don't know. My dad told me about it. Oh, good lord.
here we go. These are good ones here. Everything you see is a piece of space junk in low, medium, or high Earth orbit. It's apparently it's not bad enough, for our rocket scientists to figure out trajectory and gravity wells, but now they have to figure out, okay, we have
The trajectory through all
like
the space junk.
a 0.3 millisecond window to get through here, and then we have to dodge this, and then dodge that, and then eventually we'll escape the gravitational pull of Earth. But my
Isn't there a
God,
way we can just incinerate that shit?
no, there's not
Is there a collecting basket we can get? That would be
I
cool.
wish.
You know, this is where global warming comes from. It comes from all this space junk and debris.
We've essentially made a giant metal blanket around the whole planet.
Dude, I bet. What's to say that what it affects our
Magnetic field, probably, with all that metal out there, to a certain degree. But
I
anyway,
doubt,
moving on up to 1969. What happened there?
Oh no, you take this one because I want to do the next one, 1970.
Okay, 1969, the U.S. Congress doubled presidential salary, which the president only makes 35,000 a year.
No, he makes 250,000 a year.
Presidential salary today.
Roughly 250, maybe it's 450 now. But I think it's
salary. Why is it not telling me? Oh, 400,000. You're right. 400,000.
Yeah, so it went from 250. So it went from 200 to 400, unless it's happened again since. But yeah. But yeah, Donald Trump, he actually donated his entire salary every year. No, he didn't need it. But he donated it to veterans and stuff like that. Also, here we go in 1970. The farmers sue Max Yasgur for $35,000 in damages caused by the Woodstock Festival that happened the year prior.
Yeah, a lot of something a lot of people don't really realize about Woodstock is you look at all these hippie things, you always talk about, peace, love, man, respect nature, man. But then they just trash the ever living hell out of their. Look at that.
Oh my god!
How could you sit there and say, "Oh, we love nature," and then you do this?
Exactly. That was just horrible. Actually, think about even I heard 19 when they brought back Woodstock. They had Woodstock 94, and then they had Woodstock 99. Woodstock 99, they destroyed it.
I'm going to start calling hippies hippos because they're a bunch of hypocrites.
Yeah, fucking right, dude. I'm all for, I might flick my cigarette butt out, but I at least flick just, not the filter, I flick, the remainder, and the filter I pocket trash.
Yeah.
That'll go to the ocean for a collection. Eventually somebody's just, I don't know, I just assume it's going to go in the ocean somehow.
Everything does. From the sea back to the sea.
What happened in 1971, my
friend? In
bud?
1971, negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which for some reason is also negative 40 degrees Celsius. I don't think that's accurate.
Degrees. Well, no, actually, I think after 0 degrees, Celsius and Fahrenheit kind of coincide with each other.
That's weird how we have all these different systems that,
my dad tells me Celsius. Oh, it's 36 degrees Celsius, 36 degrees outside. I'm like, Dad, it's June. He's like, oh, wait, I'm doing Celsius.
But anyway, negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit and Celsius was state record achieved in Holly Lake, Arizona.
Yeah.
That's really cold. Record. That's really cold. That's the next state over.
Yeah. I know.
And then in 1972, Iberian Airlines plane crashed into the 800-foot peak on the island of Ibiza, and 104 people unfortunately perished. Ibiza.
Ibiza. I think that's how you say it. Who cares?
Yeah.
It don't matter. No one matters.
But also, we have two more things happen at that same day, same year, 1972. Lewis F. Powell Jr. became a U.S. Supreme Court Justice, and William Hubbs Rehnquist was sworn in as a U.S. Supreme Court Justice. Wow, two people.
So
okay.
At the same time. That's kind of cool.
Lewis F. Powell Jr. I think wasn't Mr. Powell the first black judge or something. Well, this guy's not black,
No,
so never mind.
no, he's not.
And what happened in 1973?
Well, in 1973, we have Mark Essex mass shooting comes to an end after he is shot by police more than 200 times on the roof of New Orleans Holiday Inn Hotel. He killed 9 people, including 5 policemen.
200 times?
Yeah, they shot him
Good
200.
God, they wanted this man dead.
No, he killed 5 policemen.
Yeah,
Why? Of course.
yeah.
You know,
They
they wanted
killed.
blood.
They killed this guy so hard. His next 3 ancestor or lineages are gonna like die.
They're going to be shot and killed.
No, they're just gonna be like they're gonna be miscarriages or
Imagine-
something.
I bet you there's barely anything left of the guy's body if he was shot 200 times, for like, depending on what kind of caliber. Like,
Dude, you know
he
what's
was probably
going
just
through my mind is that gif I have of that guy getting shot with 1,000 arrows. But then also don't forget Alex Murphy from RoboCop. That's what they did to this guy. They
did a little more than what they did to Murphy.
There's nothing left. Well, what
Yeah,
happened in 1979? Vietnamese
No,
forces.
you get to talk. No, you get to talk this one because the next one comes to my home state.
So in 1979, Vietnamese forces captured Phnom Penh from Khmer Rouge. Okay.
This is what? This is post Vietnam War,
Yes.
I believe.
Yeah,
Oh,
actually, Vietnam, we pulled out in like what, 1978, somewhere in there.
Yeah, or 77 or 76, something like that. But
You know what?
Like,
We have the
let's look it up. When
technology.
did we? Yeah, we have the technology. What year did we pull out of the Vietnam War?
1975.
Yeah, 75. Yeah, so this is a few years after.
Okay.
So the Vietnamese were still going after. I think this is basically they're going after the rebels that were helping us.
Mm.
And this, I think, also jump started like the mass genocide of the Hmong people. So.
Well, what
the Hill
happened?
people-
What happened 365 days after that?
So you remember how I was saying yesterday how the Philadelphia Flyers had a record 35-game unbeaten streak?
Yeah.
Do you want to know who beat it?
Who?
Who defeated them?
Michael Jackson?
No.
Beat it, beat it, beat
The
it.
Minnesota North Stars, if memory serves me correctly, in 1979 and 1980, I believe we still had the North Stars. Yeah, we did. We did have the North Stars. Yeah, the Minnesota North Stars beats Philadelphia Flyers 35-game win streak.
Yeah, you can't win them all.
Good old Stars, which are now down in Dallas. Fuck you, Dallas, for that.
Also in 1980, American President Jimmy Carter, or United States President Jimmy Carter, authorized legislation to bail out the Chrysler Corporation with a $1.5 billion loan. You know,
How much is $1.5 billion from 1980 to now?
You know what? Let's see here. 1980,
That's what I want to know.
1.5 billion.
To today's currency.
Okay, let's see here. 1 million is... Oof, hold on a second. Amounts... 1.5... 1...
Billion.
Hold on a second. 1,500... yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
calculates... I did enter a number. Okay, 1 billion...
Yeah, let's just do with 1 billion.
That's 1 million.
That's 1 million.
Okay, 1...
You gotta add 3 more. You gotta add 3 more zeros for billion. So six digits is a million.
1.5...
9 digits is a billion, if I remember correctly.
Okay, well this site is not helping me at all.
Ah,
Screw that. Anyway,
fuck 'em.
yeah, if they're going to be difficult, screw them. But moving on up to 1982.
The Islanders, Brian Trottier's 10th career hat trick. We were talking about this yesterday. That's 3 goals in 1 game.
Oh, okay.
So he had his 10th career hat trick.
So when somebody does 3 goals in 1 game, the fans have to throw their hats into the ring or something?
Well, I don't think they originally did, but eventually, like, because I call it a hat trick, people start throwing their hats out. My brother was at a Minnesota Wild game where I think Marian Gaborik got a hat trick, and he ended up having this hat that it was like his first Minnesota Wild hat, and he threw it out onto the ice, so he lost it. But yeah, like that's a hat trick.
Huh.
It's when one player makes 3 consecutive goals in a game.
Wonder why it's called a hat trick.
I can't remember why they call it a hat trick, but it's basically, maybe it's like a hat trick, kind of like a magician pulling a bunny out of a hat. I could be wrong, but that's what I think when I think of it.
That seems
But I'm
like
not
a
like
stretch.
sports. I'm not a sports pro, and I'm sure someone out there, like, if you have a comment about it, if like anyone knows that watches this, where the term hat trick came from, please leave it down in the comments below.
Yeah.
So. But we're gonna move up to 1985 here. What happened? 1985, the Japanese space probe Sagigake, or Sagaki.
Sakigaki.
Sakigaki. Yeah, Sakigaki launched to Halley's Comet.
Ah.
Yeah.
4 years after that, in 1989, Akihito became the 125th Emperor of Japan after the death of his father, Hirohito. Hirohito.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, Haruhito or Hirohito?
Yeah, actually, what comes up with that is because when I do deaths, his death comes up on here. So.
Well, Hirohito was the former Emperor of Japan during World War II.
Yep.
So
yeah,
his son.
He passed away in 1989. So that'll be coming up in my deaths. So.
Yeah. Moving on up to 1990, the Tower of Pisa was closed to the public after leaning too far.
We don't have to look that one up. I think that's self-explanatory.
Yeah. Now, see, here's the thing. Not to get all political, but
down again too.
But which side was it leaning too far on? Depends on perspective.
Yeah, I guess it does. Someone say it's to the left.
To the left, to the left. Everybody go to the left.
To the right. No, that up down video to the left, to the left, to the... Yeah, that stupid little dance that people are doing. That they're trying to do like an offbeat version of the electric slide. Fuck them. But anyways, we're gonna go to 1991 now. Saddam Hussein, he prepares his troops for what he says will be a long, violent war against the United States of America.
Well, it was a violent war, but it wasn't long.
Well, the Gulf War, no, but no, actually, there was just a lot at odds up until we finally.
Well, no, this is the predecessor to the Gulf War. He's talking about the Gulf War. The Gulf War was in like the early 90s.
Yeah, I know, but didn't it only last like freaking 90 days or something
like that?
That's what I'm
saying. Like, he's saying there will be a long, violent war. It was violent, but it wasn't long.
Yeah, we also burnt a lot of oil fields.
No, they did.
Oh, no, you're right. They did. That's right.
But like, don't forget though about the Highway of Death. Like, when they were all trying to evacuate Kuwait, we blew up the front and the back vehicles in their convoy, and we just pinned them, and we just went in there and mercilessly just mowed them down over and over and over. That should be considered a war crime.
It should be, in all honesty. Like, if you can capture people as to killing them, I'd say do it.
Yeah, but remember, those people had guns. Yeah. Moving on up to 1992, AT&T released video telephone for just under $1,500. So essentially, what we're doing right now, back in 1992, would cost $1,499, and it's free, and it's everywhere. You can there's multiple programs. Yep. Isn't technology wonderful?
Sometimes. I mean, the thing with technology is that it can either go for you in a good way, but more than likely, a lot of people are going to militarize it and make it something against you.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of technology, like everything about space, it all started as a weapon with the Germans' V2 rocket in World War II. Everything space started with a weapon.
Yep.
So.
And now it's just a spying machine. But we're going to move on here to the 1993, the Bosnian War. The Bosnian army launches a surprise attack on Krvaca, a village in Srebrenica.
Let me.
The Bosnian War. I remember when that was going on. My dad had the news on like every day when I came over to see him, and. Like, it was on just the stuff going on in the Bosnian War. Like, at the time when my dad had a built-in washer and dryer in his apartment. And, like, the way that thing was when the washing machine went, I swear to God, the washing machine was saying, Bosnia, 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 Bosnia. But no, I remember just seeing a whole bunch of that.
Maybe it was a Bosnian washing machine.
It General Electric's from Bosnia, sure.
General Electric, we're on to your secrets, we know! But in 1998, former White House intern Monica Lewinsky signed affidavit denying she had an affair with President Bill Clinton. A what?
Yeah, affidavit.
Affidavit. Okay.
Yeah, that's what that is. That's an affidavit.
Basically, I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Well, the thing is you have to notarize those things, so it becomes like a legal binding document. Which actually comes up like a year later here. That's kind of funny. Speaking of President Bill Clinton's impeachment trial begins in the U.S. Senate after the House voted to impeach him for lying about his affair with Monica Lewinsky.
Oh, Bill.
Oh, Monica. Oh, have you ever seen that Saturday Night Live sketch with Will Ferrell, Molly Shannon, and fucking who's the guy like Colin? No, what is his name?
Kaepernick.
No, not Colin Kaepernick. Colin Firth. No, Colin Firth's that British actor. Daryl Hammond. I'm sorry. Where it's like this phone call where Bill Clinton is talking with Saddam Hussein, and then all of a sudden, like, Monica Lewinsky comes in, and then you hear, like, Saddam go, "Monica, you never call!" And it's just like this three-way chat between Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky, and Saddam Hussein. Hi, Saddam! Look it up. It's fucking hilarious.
Remind me to do that after the show.
Oh, dude. Please.
You know what?
Here we go.
Yes.
I skipped from, we're going 11 years here into the future, to 2010.
Yes.
A Muslim gunman in Egypt killed 9 people after opening fire on a crowd of Coptic Christians. Coptic Christians, or however you say it.
Coptic Christians.
Coptic. What are Coptic Christians?
Coptic Christians?
Coptic Christian.
Coptic Christians.
Are they like this, are they like the Hasidic Jews? But
they are an Orthodox church, also known as the Coptic Orthodox Patriarchy of Alexandria. Is an Oriental Orthodox Christian church based in Egypt, servicing Africa and the Middle East.
So it's basically trying to convert Middle Easterns and all that stuff over.
No wonder they got shot.
No wonder. Yeah, that's, here we go. I've got one. Here you got one.
Moving on up to 2012, a hot air balloon crashed into Carterton, New Zealand, killing 11 people. How does a hot air balloon kill that many people?
Puncture, maybe? Maybe a bird flew
A puncture? How did you die? I got stabbed with a hot air balloon.
No, I was just saying a bird flew through the balloon, punctured it, and it deflated. I don't fucking know how that happens. Like, I'm sure there's a tear in the balloon, and with all the heat, or maybe like the thing, like the hot air thing that they use, maybe there was like a valve malfunction or something.
Oh, well, that explains it. It collided with a high voltage power line while attempting to land, causing it to catch fire, disintegrate, and crash just north of the town, killing all 11 people on board. Why do you have that many people in the basket? That's too much.
Oh, dude, you can fit like 20 people in those fucking things now. My mom has taken a hot air balloon ride, and I'm like, oh my god, that's like the most terrifying thing to me in the world. Like, I'm already afraid of heights. Oh my
god, I have pictures.
I got pictures of it. Oh.
Oh, that's. No, I can't. I can't.
Yeah, let's get out of that.
Moving on up to 2014, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina won re-election in Bangladesh general election. So congratulations to them.
Congratulations. Happy birthday. Oh, yeah. Okay, remember, so here, this is going to come up in deaths, too. So, in 2015, I know a lot of people might remember this, there was that terrorist attack on the offices of the satirical newspaper in France, Charlie Hebdo. That happened. It killed 12 people, including Jean Cabot and Stéphane Charbonnier. And it injures 11 people.
Is this the guy who drew Muhammad?
Yeah, this is where they the satirical company drew Muhammad. And
oh my god! Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that too, because also that same day too, there was a lot of shit that happened. Because in 2015, a car bomb explodes in Sana'a, the capital of Yemen, killing 38 people and injuring more than 63. Same day. Oh, here we go. You're gonna love this one.
In 2018, Sydney, Australia had its hottest day for 80 years as Penrith reaches 47.3 degrees, and
That's Celsius.
Celsius.
That's going to be Celsius. So if you want to do a conversion over, but that's like 100 some odd degrees plus.
That is 117. That's not bad.
Yeah,
I've had worse. I've had worse heat out here in California,
California,
It's gotten to 120 plus.
Well, as you're doing that, because remember, that's the southern hemisphere, but isn't the Sahara technically part of it in the southern hemisphere too?
Yes.
Okay, so because this is gonna be funny because
Hold on a second.
A record heat wave in Australia, it snows in the Sahara Desert.
No, that's not. It's part of the northern. The equator. Yeah, no, the equator is like way south of the Sahara.
Okay. I see. Okay. So anyways, but as Australia's having a massive heat wave that same day and hits a record heat, the Sahara Desert gets 15 inches of snow dropped upon it.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Ain Safara, northwest Algeria.
In Algeria.
Well, that's not fair. I want some snow.
I just got some snow last night, but it wasn't a lot.
Send it over here, girl.
So nice.
Anyway, moving on up to 2020, just 2 years ago, a 6.4 magnitude earthquake in Puerto Rico, the island's largest in a century, followed by many aftershocks, caused the death of one person and destroyed 800 homes. I remember that, actually. I had a friend I had a friend at the time who lives in, I believe still lives in Puerto Rico. He was talking about that. That was...
I hope the Clinton campaign didn't send out people out there to help them.
Isn't that when Trump went over there and basketball shot toilet paper or paper towels into the crowd?
I don't know. Is that true? I don't think I saw a video of him doing that. But if Trump was playing basketball player, holy crap.
No. He wasn't playing basketball, but he was like shooting.
Them out.
See that? Look at that.
Oh yeah, he's like, here, have some paper towels.
Yeah, he's like Hadouken,
Hadouken.
Trump fakes back. He dodges. 3-pointer goal.
Goal. So actually, okay. So here we go. Yeah, so in 2021, a year later, today, the U.S. Congress finally reconvenes and completes their ceremonial certification of Joe Biden's presidency.
Boo!
In the late night after an early unprecedented breach of the Capitol by Trump supporters.
They were not Trump supporters. There was
a mixture of Antifa in there. There was FBI in there. They've actually confirmed some of this, but nobody wants to report on it. We need to find the links that show who these people are.
There we go. I just updated this. I updated the script live here. You won't see it, but you will later if we watch the video. It said here, unprecedented breach of the Capitol by federal agents disguised as Trump supporters. There we go. See, I made it right.
Well, also, the last time they tried to have this huge Trump thing, one of my buddies came out there, and he was one of the people I went out with. We met up in Ohio with, and then went to Pennsylvania to pick up my boyfriend, and then he ended up going to this thing, and all it was a bunch of undercover agents. And there was more media there than there were actual protesters, and then the other half of the protesters were FBI agents. So in 2021, same day as Biden's been certified, we have Arizona is now the COVID-19 hotspot of the world, according to local health officials, with an average of 118.3 new cases. What? How do you do 0.3? So, is there
averages? See. Well, here's the thing. You're reading that, and the only thing that can come to my mind, is, oh, what a coincidence! Arizona is trying to prove that Biden's election was false, and it just so happened to be a huge outbreak. What a coincidence! Yeah. Maybe they're trying to force people to stay in their homes just so they can't count the actual ballots. Yeah. Let's see here.
Yeah, also the same day too. As Arizona's dealing with that, we have that COVID-19 hotspot. I'm gonna say the end one, if you don't mind. The Facebook chief executive Mark Zuckerberg blocks President Trump from Facebook and Instagram till January 20th, following suspension of other social media accounts.
Yeah, he got banned from Spotify too.
He got banned. But yeah, you can take the Elon Musk one and the
Yeah.
WHO.
Yeah,
That's
two
really
more
good.
events happened this time last year, 2021. Elon Musk, co-founder of Tesla, became the world's richest man with $186 billion to his name, overtaking Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. And also, the World Health Organization, aka WHO, warned Europe needs to do more to flatten the steep vertical line of COVID-19 cases and control the spread of the new variant, with 230 million already living under lockdown. This virus crap is such malarkey. Like, dude, something was said the other day that these people, they're so full of themselves they don't even realize that nobody's believing their crap anymore. They're just on TV spewing their shit, and everybody else is just not listening, and they don't even realize that.
Did you hear what the Prime Minister of Australia just did too? Was it yesterday or the day before? He now implemented a lockdown for unvaccinated, and you can't leave unless you're getting groceries, going to a doctor's appointment, or get tested or something like that.
Yeah.
He said that work is not an essential thing for you to do.
Yes, it is.
It's not included. Yeah, it is. Like, how are these people going to pay for their homes? Like, you just gave them a lockdown. Like, not everyone's job.
Oh, they'll pay for their homes when they completely surrender themselves to the state.
I can't believe that Australia has gone to this state. Like, it really surprises me that Australia has gone so far down the rabbit hole.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not talking about the cool kind of rabbit hole where you've taken acid,
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to spitball these bursts here. In 1502, we have Gregory the 11th. He was an Italian pope. He introduced the Gregorian-style calendar in 1582. 1745, Johann Christian Fabricius, Danish entomologist, named nearly 10,000 species. 1768, Joseph Bonaparte, French king of Naples and Spain. He was the brother of Napoleon. Those silly Chicquois. 1800, Millard Fillmore, the 13th President of the United States. 1813, Anne Rutledge, said to be Abraham Lincoln's true love. 1827, Sir Sanford Fleming, a Scottish-Canadian engineer, introduced Universal Standard Time. 1834, Johann Philipp Reis, German physicist and inventor of the Reis telephone. I believe this is the guy who may have actually invented the telephone, not Alexander Graham Bell, because very much like how the Wright brothers, invented the plane and everything, they really weren't. They're the ones who got the press. That's the thing.
And their plane only flew for 13 seconds.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on up to 1858, we have Eliezer Ben Yehuda, the key figure in the revival of Hebrew as a spoken language. So that's pretty interesting. 1870, Gordon Hewart, he was a British judge, quote, not only must justice be done, it must also be seen to be done, end quote. So that's a really good quote.
That is a good quote. But if only people were actually practicing that today.
Yes, and actually I'm going to put this in the quotes channel.
That's actually a good quote. It's definitely worthy of note.
1883, Andrew Brown Cunningham, Irish-British admiral, first Sea Lord of the Admiralty from 1943 to 46. So he was given the title Sea Lord. Well, that's interesting. In 1912, we have Charles Addams. He was an American artist and cartoonist for The New Yorker. Made the Addams Family. He was known for darkly humorous and macabre characters. 1962. In 1926, wow, Kim Jong-pil, not to be confused with Kim Jong-il, he was a South Korean prime minister, and he was the founder of the Korean Central Intelligence Agency, which is now the National Intelligence Service. In 1928, we have William Peter Blatty, American scriptwriter and author of The Exorcist. 1933, Diane Leather, British athlete, the first woman to run a sub-5-minute mile, which I believe is just under the 5 minutes. 10 years later, 1943, Sadako Sasaki, Japanese child victim of the Hiroshima atomic bomb. He was born in Hiroshima. 1963, Rand Paul.
Happy birthday, Paul.
Yeah, American politician. Happy birthday, Mr. Paul.
But he was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Blam!
And also in 1964, your favorite actor ever, Mr. Nicolas Cage.
Happy birthday, Nicolas Cage.
And then, last but not least, in 1995, we have Craig Thompson, an Irish-English YouTuber, aka Mini Lad. So, those of you who watch Vanoss and his gang, that's him.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Now we're going to go on to the more morbid thing, which is totally up my alley because I'm a morbid fucking person. All right, so in 312 AD, we have Lucian of Antioch. Theologist and martyr dies of torture and starvation.
Ugh, that sucks.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I definitely got to put that one in there. You're going to be for torture.
Torture.
Anyway, so we're going from that to 1536. Catherine of Aragon, first wife of England's King Harry, dies at 50. 1695, Mary II, Queen of England, Scotland, and Ireland, wife of William III, dies of smallpox at 32 years old.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we have Anne Sophie Reventlow, Queen of Denmark and Norway. Yeah, she dies at 49 years old. 1864, Caleb Bloodsmith, American journalist and politician, 6th U.S. Secretary of Interior, dies at 55.
What a weird middle name. Who gives
I know,
him
that's
blood?
That's why I put it in. I was like, blood.
Blood. From the Muffin video, blood.
Blood. Yeah, I know. Blood. That's exactly why I said that way. Like,
you said it spot on, too.
The great minds think alike. So we go from Caleb Bloodsmith to 1870, Karl Schwenke. He was a German pianist and composer. He died at 72. 1891, we have Karl Gottfried, but his real name was Wilhelm Taubert. He was a German pianist, conductor, and composer as well. Dead at 79. In 1933, we're going to move up a little bit here. We have Herbert, in quotations, Bert Hinkler, Australian aviator who made the first solo flight from England to Australia in 1928, dies in a plane crash at 40.
Oh.
Sorry. This is a sad one. In 1943, Nikola Tesla, the physicist, Tesla motor, died at 86 years old.
Why does it say Tesla motor?
It says, I think, because I don't know. It's what it said on the thing, and I was like, okay, whatever.
I'm starting to get concerned, if people are going to confuse.
Did he make a motor that we don't know about?
I mean, he invented a lot of things, so he probably...
He did.
But
Maybe he did make
they
electric
probably put that in there because
motor.
people more associate with Elon Musk Tesla rather than actual Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, I think maybe that's what it was.
That's what's saddening me.
Yeah. This Nikola Tesla died today. In 1944, we have Lou Henry Hoover. She was the the U.S. First Lady and wife of the 31st President, Herbert Hoover. She died at 69. So fine. 1984, we're going to move up from 44 to 84. I just didn't find a lot of the people there that were, there was a few physicists and stuff that died during the years, but, I was just I don't want to make it too long, so. So we got 1984, Alfred Kastler, French physicist, he got a Nobel Prize in 1906, the Hertzian resonance with atoms, died at 81. As like I said earlier, 1989, Emperor Hirohito of Japan, 1922 through 89, dies at 87 after a 60-year reign.
Wow.
1994, Bobby Pratt, he was an American jazz, trombone, and piano player, died at 67.
He was only 25, by the way. Hirohito was only 25 when he took control.
Yeah, and it was right before the whole shindig, or a few years before. I don't know. I could look more into it. We're going to move from 94 to 98. Richard Hamming, the American mathematician and computer scientist, the Hamming code. He dies of a heart attack at 82 years old. So from there, we're going to 2000. Gary Albright, he was an American professional wrestler back in 1963. 2007, we have Bobby Hamilton, American NASCAR driver and team owner, dies of cancer at 49. We have, in 2015, here's the Charlie Hepburn, Stéphane Charbonnier, French cartoonist and editor of the satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo, dies in a terrorist attack at 47. And this one's kind of the saddest one for me because I love this band. Fucking Canadians, though. In 2020, Neil Peart, the Canadian rock drummer and lyricist for Rush, dies from glioblastoma, basically brain cancer at 67 years old.
A lot of these people are dying in their 40s and 60s and such. It's really making me concerned because I'm only 34.
Oh, dude, I'm 37. Don't fucking push it, dude.
Anyway, that concludes the show. Once again, check the underbar for any links you may be interested in. For your dose of passive events daily, I am Eo Xander.
I am Who's Alice with Frosted Animal Crackers.
Ooh, I want one. And we are joined by Bill, the ever quiet one. Anyway, until you see us tomorrow, toodles!
Toodles!